I haven't made a running order yet. I'll make it up as we go along. Um, yeah, the light bulb blowing has thrown me completely. So, um, yeah.
Confused.
Welcome to SpeakEasy Online. It's July 2021. And although lockdown sort of lifted, we're still doing this for the time being. Um, yeah, great to see you all. There's a couple of notices. I think the Poetry Symposium planned for the 21st of August is still penciled in the diary with Tully House. So put that in the diaries and fingers crossed that'll all go smoothly. And then there's a couple of events at local community centres that Tony Brown was talking about a couple of weeks ago. And it's the 27th of August. There's one at Harrowby Community Centre, and 29th of August, one at Brampton. And he said, do you think any of the speakeasy lot would like to come along and read some poems? I went, I don't know. So I'm asking you now. So anybody, you're welcome to turn up and come along and read some bits and pieces to entertain people. Ooh, got another late comer here. So yeah, does that sound okay?
What dates were those, Phil?
That's Poetry Symposium, 21st of August, Harrowby Community Centre, 27th of August, and Brampton Community Centre on the 29th of August. And then I've got a running order I'm making up as we go along right now, which would be me, George, Roz, Steve, Janetto, Richard, Jean, Kevin, and Ali, maybe Marilyn. Marilyn, are you listening? Are you going to read something?
Yeah. No, I don't have anything to read. Sorry, Phil. A bit last minute.
That's all right. It's always a bit last minute, so don't worry about it. It's cool. Have I missed anybody out? No, I think I've got everybody. All right. If anybody else comes along, they can go on the end. There was a few apologies. Susan sent her apologies, and Kelly sent her apologies. And I think one or two others. So yeah, it's a well-oiled machine as usual. So okay. Oh, there you are, Marilyn. Hello.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it?
We haven't seen you for a little while as well. You're good to see you. You all right?
Yes, thanks.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. As I say, if you can mute when you're not reading and unmute when you are reading, that's great. And we'll crack on. This one is kind of a triptych, and it's called Pingdemic, and goes a bit like this. The pinging virus is on the rise. It's no pinging surprise. There's a pinging upturn of infection, spreading across the pinging nation. There's a summer of pinging sports, and watching the Euros the pinging cause. Pinging mixed messages are flying all around. When you get the dreaded pinging sound, is it just advisory? There's some strong pinging views. The pinging government on the 6 o'clock news told to isolate when pinging contacted. Seems a pinging no-brainer. If you've got the app, pinging, use it. The new health secretary gets himself a ping. Sajiv Javid has to isolate. There's less than a week to go until Pinging Freedom Day. Pinging Prime Minister and Chancellor pinged now too. Say they're not going to isolate. They're taking pinging part in a trial run of a brand pinging new plan to test every pinging day. Stupid pingers is the public reaction. A quick pinging 180 to stem the tide. And they'll spend the pinging time pinging isolating. We're all together on this pinging roller coaster ride. Ping! There you are. Thank you very much. Okay, George, follow that if you dare.
Thanks, Phil. Sounds like a case for Kung Fu Penguin. Sorry, couldn't resist the anyway. Right, you probably know I've been doing this thing recently, the craft of poetry, where we get prompts, etc. each week. So the one for this week, actually, I think it was to do a list poem. So I have an occasion, so I thought I'd have a go at this. This is a list poem. I could have been a lecher in a nunnery, a eunuch in a harem, a genius in a housing scheme without a hope in hell, a virgin in a horror movie, a poor boy in a song, a child of Waco, a Muslim in Sarajevo, a Christian in China, non-white in Memphis, a child without food, a child without water, a child in a refugee camp, a child of persecution, a child with hate taught to kill, a devil in disguise, a god in his heaven, an idiot in charge, a smug bastard. Life is a pin, stick yours.
That was great, George. Pretty comprehensive list there, I thought. Very good. Cool. Okay, Roz, what have you got for us?
Right. I've got something somewhere. I'm getting worse, honestly. This is one that I did a couple of weeks ago, and then I kept it, and it's Goodbye to SpeakEasy online, so the title is a homage to Phil, and I probably should keep it, but I don't know how many more of these we have. Soon, this diverse group I've come to know will return to the places they used to go. We'll all go back to a physical room as we reach the end of SpeakEasy on Zoom. The only reason most of us have met is a lack of distance on the internet. Still, I'm pleased I met you creative lot and heard the wonderful stuff you've got, which includes Phil's continuous burble of Kung Fu Penguin and the Purple Gerbil. Now, the prospect of real people should be enough to make anyone feel good. Only when it's in person, Poets Out Loud consists of quite a different crowd. And I must confess to feeling a bit sad, because I'll miss all my new friends, a tad. And who knows if every once in a while I don't threaten to make it as far as Carlisle, just to hear again those wonderfully verbal songs and stories of Purple Gerbil. Now, as the end of Zoom approaches fast, I want to say SpeakEasy's been a blast, and its success is due to the skill and the leadership of the amazing Phil. Really, I'd like to mention you all, but that would take the entire Zoom call. And since we'll no longer gather in this way, that's really all I have left to say. Except, I do believe Phil smoked something herbal when he dreamt up the Purple Gerbil. And that was my farewell to you lot.
That's really lovely. And all previous episodes of SpeakEasy are available on YouTube, so you can catch up on Kung Fu Penguin and the delights of the Purple Gerbil and the adventures. That might still make no sense. Thank you, Rose. That was lovely.
Oh, sorry, I just meant to say hi to Richard because I haven't seen you for so long.
Thanks, Rose. No, I've been otherwise engaged most Wednesdays for a while, so nice to be back.
It's good to see you back. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Roz. We'll hear more from you later. Okay, Steve, I can see you tuning up.
Is the volume okay on the?
Yeah, seems to be okay.
Can you hear that okay?
Lovely, yeah.
Okay, I've got a poem and a song that go together. I didn't write these, but this is one of my favourite songs by Tommy Makem called Grey October Clouds. And Tommy Makem put a on the album that I got the song from, he put a poem and to go with the song called White Swans and Black. The poem is by somebody called Judy Ripley, American poet, sadly died in the late 40s, round about, yeah, in the 1980s. She wrote under the name of J.B. Goodenough, and she was a friend of Gordon Bok, the fairly well-known folk singer, songwriter. So, okay, White Swans and Black, followed by the Grey October Clouds. With winter at the mouth, white swans have gone, and black, proceeding south down the grey dawn. Cry after them, cry out over the town, ensnare them with a shout, bring the swans down. The summer flies away where the swans crossed. It streaks across the grey, southward and lost. No man may call them back once the swans fly, the white swans and the black, down the grey sky. Summer birds have gathered and are flying to the sun. We saw the wild geese heading south on their October run. Last crop has been harvested, all the work is done, and the grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. The grey October clouds go drifting by. On summer dawns I walked alone by singing silver streams. The lark song filled the early morn, I could fill my dreams. The good times pass so quickly, that was long ago it seems. Now the grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. The grey October clouds go drifting by. In every field my fancy ran, wild flowers could be seen. On every hill and valley, and the meadows in between. Now leaves of brown come tumbling down from trees that once were green. The grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. The grey October clouds go drifting by. In the summer of our lifetimes, the skies were always blue. We'd weave our dreams with noble thoughts, and dreams would all come true. Believe in all your youthful dreams, and they'll live on for you. When the grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. And the grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. And the grey October clouds go drifting by. And the grey October clouds go drifting by. The grey October clouds go drifting by, drifting by. Thank you.
That was lovely, Steve. Thank you so much. Great to have you back. Cool. Thanks very much, man. Jeanette, hello.
Muted and muted and unmuted and again. Let me just find the poem I was going to read. Actually, it's called The Caretaker, and it's based on a photo. I don't know if you can see it there. It's in the middle of the M Sport book, and he was deliberately given the centerfolds, and he's their cleaner, because if it wasn't for him keeping the place tidy, you know, he's he's an essential worker, and got pride of place in the centre pages of the book. I've tried to write this in syncane form, which, if I've got it right, is 2 syllables, 4 syllables, 6, 8, then 2. So, the caretaker. The floor, his centrepiece, as meditation mops, chest-pocketed philosophies, weightless. And that's that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, meditation mops. That's great. That's clever. I like that. Yeah.
Just a lazy way of writing poems for me at the moment. If I can just cut them down to those syllables, I can put a load and waffle out.
There's something about that sort of precision, the precise nature of knowing what to leave in, though. That's clever. I think Andy Hopkins was always trying to get the group of us who were doing his workshops to try and pare things down quite as much as possible, wasn't he? Yeah. I think we always get a bit worried and use sort of loads of description stuff as a bit of a crutch, and if you just get to the essence of poetry, it still works. Discuss in due course.
Is it me, Phil? Sorry, I forgot who you said I was after. I think you said I was after.
It's Richard next, and then you're after Richard.
Thank you.
Cool.
Right, hi there, everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've been busy. I've been to a foreign country, sunny Scotland, for a holiday. I had my youngest son up, who's just got engaged early June, and then we went on a cruise round from Portsmouth to Liverpool, which is great fun. And it's supposed to stop at the Scilly Islands, but unfortunately the weather was terrible and they couldn't that day. But never mind. I got a lot of work done during the periods, and I've been writing quite a few things. It was anti-bullying week some time ago, but I wrote a poem about bullying. So it's called Bully Me Not, Bully for You. Sticks and stones should never be used. Even your thoughts can leave me bruised. Nobody likes to be abused, so be kind and let's all smile. Some words are better not spoken. Our rules just made to be broken. Love should be there as a token to make all our lives worthwhile. Not in the playground nor in the park, not in the daytime, never after dark, not in a large gang or on your own. Don't say words when you use the wrong tone. Not on a mobile or a device. Bully me not, it's not very nice. Though I'm different, I'm part of the crowd. I won't be bullied, I won't be bowed. If you bully, lives will be wrecked. No need to remain so henpecked. Show more compassion and respect, and then go the extra mile. Not in the playground, nor in the park, nor in the daytime, never at dark. Not in a large gang or on your own. Don't say words when you use the wrong tone. Not on a mobile or a device. Bully me not, it's not very nice. Though I'm different, I'm part of the crowd. I won't be bullied, I won't be bowed. Thank you.
A brilliant sentiment there, Richard.
Yeah, I thought I might send it to the local school.
Yeah.
Put that on their notice board or something.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. Yeah, we've had a few pieces about respect and bullying and things, obviously, in light of the Euro football final and other bits and pieces in recent months.
And all that type of thing.
Yeah,
we've got the Olympics to contend with.
yeah, yep. But yeah, great stuff, Richard. Okay, Jean, what have you got for us?
Hello. My needle beak jabs a loop as I make a winter nest for your foot. A cosy muzzle grows red on 4 pins. I hope you feel the love in my labour as I turn the heel.
That was lovely as well. Yeah. Thank you very much. Kevin, we're with you. Hello.
You okay?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I'll read the work, and there's just a few add-ons, just a couple, that relate partly to it, which were unknown when I actually started it. Okay. It's called Myth and Murk. The hangman's noose hung limp, awaiting usage on a cold, damp morning. A surge of bodies compressed the gibbet, the unshaven, the bent and crooked, a motley mix of town and country, exchanging odd looks. Unnerving silence, wiping their salt, damp faces with rags and silk, depending. A boy, an urchin, picks his way through pockets, watched by Lord Willoughby, unmoved, conscious of his painful legs in his fine coach. Passing judgment was his way. He mused upon the punishment for the lad. A flogging, a convictship, deportation. Fingers strumming, he hummed and waited for the main event. A wailing rent the air, accompanied by the clatter of a horse-drawn prison, a black cell on wheels. Hands clasping the inside bars to avoid a fall by the swaying motion, batons drawn in case of trouble. The patter of rain now increasing. The crowd, or mob, whichever you prefer, eased their common assault upon the gallows, making way for the prisoner, manacled. A stall of pies, a stall of gin and ale. A hornpipe dance, a lament for sailors lost at sea. Widows dancing, children crying, children laughing. The urchin boy smiles and looks away. Shrouded in black, a consumptive priest blesses the gathering, bell, book and candle in mind. He swings in slow motion the string of beads in nervous hands, a stained glass vision of the world haunting him as he prays for salvation of those before him. Who was the man within the ironclad box, denouncing the monarchy and all it stood for? How many listened and how many cared? For this was a day to remember, the last of its kind upon the heath of public executions. That's it. I just wanted to show you a few. I said there was a few little add-ons, and you wouldn't believe it. That piece of writing started with a weather forecast, and I found that there was a piece of work that I did back in, this would have been the year 2000, and it was called Crime and Punishment. I don't know whether you can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
You can see it. that was at Hebden Bridge Sculpture Trail. It was a temporary sculpture, and
Cool.
and this is the maquette that I made for it. I think you might just be able to see it. Yeah,
Oh wow! Wow! Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you can see it.
yeah. Looks
I
great.
kept those, you know, from way back, and yeah, that's it. But the origins, like I said, were to do with the words "murk," which always annoys me on the weather forecast because I believe there's no such thing. I did look it up, and "murk" is a Scottish word, but also what fitted into the narrative was that you can be murked, which is an expression of being assaulted and beaten up if you do the right, you know, if you meet the wrong person on a forgive if you like. So that's it for now. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. That was great and educational as well. Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, Ali. Hello. Welcome to SpeakEasy.
Hello, it's nice to meet you all and hear from you. It's lovely. I've just really recently reconnected with Phil, and also very recently started to enjoy poetry. So this just seemed like a really nice community to bump into. I'm not a poet, so sorry. Can I read you some John Hegley?
Please do. We like John Hegley a lot.
I think John Hegley is what made me realise that I'd never experienced poetry that could just hit you in the face, and I think that's what made me think that poetry could mean something for me. But anyway, this one, I live just about you might even hear it in a minute, but I live about 10 meters from a railway line, and so the trains come by. It's the Weymouth to Waterloo line, so like we get trains every half hour, but I really love it. And during lockdown, the trains were empty, and so we'd hear the trains go, we would look out the window and we'd try and count the people on the train, and then, you know, be really happy if we got to 5 because the trains were so quiet. And it's been really interesting watching the trains slowly fill up. So anyway, this I know I'm going to move shortly and away from the railway, and I know that I'm going to miss that being close to the railway, and this poem sort of explains why. So it's Into Rail. The first train I rode in, I rode in when I was 8. It was a beautiful beast, a great one-nostriled black dragon, cheerfully dragging its human wagon loads. Now the nostrils have gone, but the benevolence goes on. The loco lives, the loco gives. Even the trains I do not catch transport me. And he gets to the nub, and how I got into poetry. So thank you for having me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we did two online sessions with him. I think I did tell you about that the other day, and they were lovely. And there might be some more projects. Who knows in the future? So thank you very much. I must say, Ali, your brother Michael and his wife Amelia. I was at school with Michael, and so was Joe, and they tuned in for a couple of our online sessions. And then I was talking to your other brother Nick, and he said he'd come along to some of the old SpeakEasy sessions down at the Source Cafe back in the day as well. So you're joining a family tradition. I think Jenny may have been along at some point as well.
Well, I'll give them a poke.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, Marilyn, you may have found a piece. We've only got about 3 minutes. Do you think that's long enough, or do you want me to push the magic button? We can sign back in and.
This is just from it's a piece I did at uni when I was doing a creative writing with Nick Pemberton, and it got into a Unbound Press book. So it's about a collection of letters that I have, and it's called Man of Stars. It's just an extract. I read other people's letters just as surely as if I were at their shoulder as the ink flowed, or there when the brittle seal snapped and the letter slipped from the envelope. My dear Miss Earle, I have not yet done myself the pleasure of thanking you for your very kind letter, the 13th in which you gave me an account of your efforts to recover poor Tipu, or to learn something respecting him. As an opening sentence, this had everything necessary to reel me in, and soon I was so absorbed that the writer, across more than 140 years, must have felt the whisper of my breath prickle the hair on their neck, making them pause and glance around the room inquiringly. I turned the folded paper to where the letter was signed. Remain, my dear Miss Earle, your faithful friend, W.R. Dawes, in lettering that arched and coiled from one character to the next, and concluded with an underscore of the surname, not as a flourish, more as a decisive stroke of the pen. A rustle of parchment and a waft of elderly dust returned me to the 21st century and the cool of a Cumbrian auction room, where long wooden tables held cardboard boxes crammed with bundles of documents, deeds, indentures, and letters. The sooty contents of solicitors' attic storerooms, fragile fragments of lives lived, disputes settled, and wills scribed, were piled in unseemly heaps. The neat packet of letters I picked up was small and intriguing. I can leave it there if you like.
That is intriguing. That was brilliant.
Perhaps something you don't know about me, I have a massive collection of 18th century letters, and I'm just so nosy. That's pretty much it.
Curious. Writers are curious beasts. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. We may be about to time out. Just use the same login to log back in, and we'll have another go around the group.
Okay.
It's been lovely. That's been great so far. Thank you very much. I'll push the button.
Back again.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to see you again, Richard. We've missed your.
I haven't thought I had died or something.
Well, no. I knew you were away enjoying the sun and on holidays and catching up with
very
people.
busy. Every time Wednesday comes around, we're away or doing something. So it's just the way it worked out. But anyway,
well, it's good to be busy. I mean, after such a year of not being busy,
trying to find as many things to do as possible to stop the boredom. But
yeah.
I like the beard, Phil.
Oh,
I've not seen you since that's grown, sprouted.
It's what happened?
It's a slip-on one. I don't know.
It's a real one. It's real.
Oh, well, I can't do anything, can I? You know I would.
The reason for the beard is because I got a part in a film, and it's a World War One period drama, and it's set in the trenches. And the guy who's directing it, I went up to see them, and he said, "You can play an officer." I thought, oh, an officer had a moustache. Yeah. So I thought, I grabbed the full beard, and then I can always get the beard off when need be to do the filming. So
excellent.
That's the
commitment to the role.
Say again, Ellie.
That was great commitment to the role.
Yeah, suffering for his art by the look of it.
Yeah, well, it was
saving money on razor blades.
yeah. It was the full beard, and then it was getting too warm with that, so I was like, no. Beard topiary was a thing that happened. But yeah, I've been confused with Roger Delgado as Master from Doctor Who, and also
I remember him.
Also, Vladimir Lenin was another name that came up in conversation.
Right. Not D'Artagnan then.
Great company.
Oh yeah.
I don't fancy being a musketeer. Yeah.
Not yet. There's still time. It was lovely to have tributes to these online sessions and so many references to what we've been hearing over the last 18 months.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go back and find out about the purple gerbil. I'm probably not so curious.
Oh goodness, you may have to go all the way back to September of last year to start with that one.
It'll be a long night.
Yeah.
Should be a TV series, I think.
Yeah, The Adventures of Kung Fu Penguin, and I won't spoil it, what the purple gerbil, how that comes into it. Okay, Jean sent her apologies. Her iPad the batteries were running out there, so she may reappear, or that might be it for this evening. But yeah. Susan sent her apologies, but she said to pass on her thanks for everybody who contributed to the Mind Trees of the Urban Forest project, which was a couple of years ago. And Susan curated this whole exhibition and made a film and put together the book, the anthology, Ecology Press anthology, and it's been. It was a project about mental health, and we explored mental health by interviewing service users with the Carlisle in Eden Mind mental health charity and other mental health professionals. And we had a big exhibition at the old fire station in Carlisle. And long story short, it's just been nominated for a Diverse Cumbria Award. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And so I think the final event is going to be held at the end of September. Oh, yeah. There's the team. Yeah. I think we've probably still got some more books. These might feature at the Carlisle Poetry Symposium in August, so that you can get a copy if you haven't already got a copy. But many of our friends from SpeakEasy were in the collection, and yeah. She said there's tickets available for people if they wanted to come along to this event. Just log on to the Diverse Cumbria Awards website, and there's information all on there. I did it, you see. I did what I was told to do. Did that. So yeah. Okay. Here's part 2 of the pingdemic. It goes like this. That stupid pinger, Dominic Cummings, reared his ugly head. Said that pinging Boris made comments about the dead. Way back at the start was going to see the Queen. Had to explain to the silly pinger how bad that would have been. If he'd passed on COVID and killed her, it's not the best of looks. He'd earn a unique place in the pinging history books. He'd apparently said the pinging lockdowns were a pinging big mistake. The virus only killed those over 80. How many more dead was it going to take before they followed the data in autumn 2020? Anyone can see that this country's pinging leader is a #1 world beater when it comes to dither and delay. And as for his former aide, if he had any credibility, it was lost after his unsanctioned pinging eye test. Most people wish that pinger would shut up and go away. And there you are.
Brilliant, Phil. That's fantastic.
Oh, cheers. Thanks very much. All right, George, follow that.
Phil, sorry, you keep giving me impossible things to follow, Phil, but never mind. Yeah, this piece, I'll put in a little plug for a publisher up here called Dreek. I don't know, I think some of you possibly have been in it. He brings out a phenomenal amount of stuff of late. And actually, this poem was in one of his anthology pamphlets. I can't remember which one, which is ridiculous. But I just realised when I was looking at it, it came from a piece of free writing, so it's in the nature of a prose poem rather than it's the nature of a prose poem. Desiderata, out of COVID desolation. Build and pull down until there is perfection, or as near it as you can achieve in your allotted time. Let life be a journey to the end where vision meets reality, and death is an acceptance of achieving what was begun to the satisfaction of those left. Let us remember the sacrifices of others. The world is a better place for the lives of many. The things given, not thrown away, not a closed tightness, but in the open spaces. Always see beyond self to the opportunity, to that space, the future. For life is finite, but possibility is endless. Can you hear above the roar of progress, the cars, the planes, the chattering shoppers, the television? There is an ant walking. Stop. There is more to be seen than you take time to discover. Suddenly, the taste of life will be sweet when you seize those moments to enjoy it. There are new sensations to place upon your tongue. Depend on your inner being, unfetter your senses, forget what is acceptable and do what needs to be done. Make a place where you're at peace, and all who you meet there may feel contented and will leave refreshed. And in this place, accept your failings and successes with equanimity, for both are you, the likable motive and what is envious and devious. Remember both, and do what is bitter. Be still, be still. Ambition will not find better, merely other.
Really good, George, really good. Yeah. Thank you. Roz, hello, do you have another?
Me again. I've got 3 loads of stuff open here. Can't find anything. Oh, there we go. This is, I was thinking about, it was the plague or the Black Death or something. They made up Ring the Roses. So I thought we need a nursery rhyme for COVID. So this is a little game called Pass It On that you play like pass the parcel with a bag of sweets or a bottle of whiskey if that's what you like. And it goes like this. Here's a treat for you to pass on. Party tea with cake and scone. If you catch it, your granny's gone. When this rhyme stops, you're the one. Pass it on, pass it on. At that point, somebody takes a sweet out the packet and it all goes round in a circle again. I thought we could play it, but then I thought, no, that's too complicated.
Oh, that's so inventive of you, Roz. Next time, if we do get a speakeasy or a Poets Out Loud and we're in the same room together, we'll try and give that a go and see how long it lasts. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Roz. Excellent stuff. Okay, we're back with Steve. What you got for us, Steve?
Here's a song that combines 2 poems. It's one of my favourite songs called Down by the Sally Gardens, which is a poem by Yeats and put to the tune of a beautiful Irish air. And there's another poem which Tommy Makem joined with Sally Gardens, a poem by Houseman called When I Was 1 and 20. So here are the 2 poems put together to the tune of a beautiful Irish air. Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I did meet. She passed the Sally Gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as the leaves grow on the tree. Ah, but I was young and foolish, and with her I did not agree. In a field down by the river, my love and I did stand, and on my leaning shoulder she placed her snow white hand. She bid me take life easy as the grass grows on the weir. Ah, but I was young and foolish, and now I am full of tears. He bid me take life easy as the grass grows on the weir. But I was young and foolish, and now I am full of tears. Now when I was 21, I heard a wise man say, give crowns and pounds and guineas, but never your heart away. Give pearls away and rubies, but keep your fancy free. But I was 21, no use to talk with me. And when I was 22, I heard him say again, that a heart out from the bosom was never given in vain. 'Tis paid in sorrow plenty and sold for endless rue. Now I am 22, and oh, 'tis true, 'tis true.
Oh, thanks, Steve. That was really good. Thank you very much. Okay, Jeanette, have you got another?
Hello, yes, I have. You mentioned before about the class we had with Andy, and there was one poem where we had to think of an object that we had or something that a prized possession. And this is one that I did, thanks to Andy, helped me edit it. It did cut down to something very small. And the object was my little Glastonbury bag. So it's called Holding Glastonbury. Free with the Guardian once, one priceless cotton backpack, sun faded and stained with grass and biodegradable glitter. Its straps leave a dent. And that is that. Thank you.
That was really good because he used ads and things on sort of Amazon,
Right.
descriptions to sort of inspire us, didn't he?
Yeah, it was fun.
And you sort of look at an object in a slightly different way, don't you? When you're trying to sell all its good points.
Tell it, yeah.
And then we did end up trying to add in those little details of only slightly scuffed around the edges, well loved. It'll be a loving gift to somebody. It's like, well, it's obviously secondhand. I don't know if it's gonna. How much do you love this person if you're giving them a secondhand object? I don't know.
Retro and yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a great idea, wasn't it? It just made you think about it differently. Yeah. That's a cool bag, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And it was free with the Guardian. And I've since been called a left-wing Mary Ann for buying the Guardian, so, but I'll take that one.
Well, can't blame you. That's cool. That's really good. Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Have you got another one for us, Richard?
Yeah, I don't know whether any of you got cars, but I guarantee that as soon as you wash them, it either rains or a bird will dollop a great lump of poo on it. And I keep finding it on my car. And it's difficult if it dries on, it's difficult to get off. So I've caught a few pigeons doing it on my car, and I've called this poem Stop the Pigeon. There was a song about that in I think it was the Wacky Races, if I remember. But pigeon poo on my car. This time they've gone too far. Can we wipe them off the map? First they eat and then they crap. Pigeons are flying rats. There's millions. Look at the stats. Fly and breed in all weathers. Ugly grey beak and feathers. Pigeons, let's stamp them out. Loose bowels and with clout. I'll be just glad, no surprise, when each and every one of them dies. Pigeons, they've got some balls. Upset me with their calls. I dislike them to pieces, both them and their vile feces. So I am really an animal lover. I must admit, I wouldn't destroy the pigeons. So I'm sure that there's quite a lot in public squares all over the country and in the world, actually. So they seem to work quite well from a breeding point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we've all been there, haven't we? And you sort of think,
Mhm.
oh, great, thanks.
There's a good answer, Richard. Just never wash your car.
There is that, yeah.
But then they'll say that it affects the paintwork and things.
It does actually. I think it's got acidity in it. It rots the paint.
Yeah.
Right.
Okie dokie. Jean's dipped out. We'll have Kevin. If you've got another one, Kevin.
I thought I'd talk a little about Michael Horowitz. So, Michael Horowitz, he died on the 7th of July and has a fantastic history in, I suppose, contemporary poetry. And I met him when I used to teach at Portsmouth College of Art, and he would come on occasional lectures, and he produced a quite interesting book. But I was checking out on him because I hadn't seen Michael Horowitz since 1972, when I actually bought. Michael Horowitz was born in Germany in 1935, I think it was. Anyway, Michael was 85, just turned 86 when he died in the early part of July. His family, he was the youngest of 10 children. His father was a rabbi, and he was 2 when he came to London. And when he went to Brasenhouse College, Oxford, and started, well, in a way, evolving as a poet. And he was very instrumental in probably the most famous poetry event in Britain, or certainly, in Britain, in 1965, which was held at the Royal Albert Hall, and 6,000 people attended, and it was the revival of poetry. And the headliners were William Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg. But there were many, many other poets there, including Michael Horowitz, who read some of his own poems. And he set up a thing called New Departures, poetry magazine, which he edited for 50 years. And it was supported and instrumental with underground poets. But he came out with this, I hope that's the right way around for everybody, is it?
Yes, it is for us, yeah.
So, Wolves is my hometown, Wolves is my football club, and this was a very important work. And I believe, I didn't realise until, in fact, I started doing a bit of Wikipedia, that there were 12 works not around Wolverhampton Wanderers, but in that series. And it's illustrated by this football team of well-known artists and poets and supporters, if you like. Richard Hamilton is there somewhere here, I think, he's next to Michael Horowitz. Jeff Nuttall, I don't know, also a well-known figure who he used to run the fine art at Leeds Polytechnic, and he also wrote a very important book called Bomb Culture, which was kind of made his name in a way. But he was a musician, a poet, a writer, a frequent contributor to Radio 3. interesting man, died suddenly. It was just a shame. But the book itself is quite interesting because I was looking on books, and you can see copies of still kind of, I don't know how much they were, I can't remember, but some lovely illustrations that were done for it. And he also edited a famous book of beat poets, which was, it was called Poetry of the Underground in Britain. And that was one of his works. He was editor of it. And I just wanted to, in a way, pay tribute to Michael Horowitz. I believe he was quite ill for a long time. That was the one that drew my attention to it in the Eye newspaper. And yeah, I suppose that's it. And I'd like to, well, just pay my compliments to a man who did so much for poetry in Britain. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And yeah, it's the passing of a giant in the poetry scene in Britain. So it's very good of you to think of paying tribute, because we should. Yeah, it's good. All right, Ali, we're back with you. Have you got another one for us?
Not really, unless you want me to pick one at random. I'm happy to listen. It's been really lovely so far. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your words. Just really enjoying hearing from you and hearing about these poetry giants. You're opening my eyes here. Thank you.
That's great. I'll get you to pick one at random first, but we'll see if Finola has got anything to read as well. And good evening. Hello, Finola. Hello.
Hello, I'm really pleased to be able to make it. I feel so bad when I get the emails, because I then open my diary and it's like I'm doing nothing for the whole month except the night. And the reason I'm late was because I was actually tied up doing something else. I would love to read. It'd be really nice. I was kind of hoping that I might hear a Michael Horowitz poem at some point. That would be, I think that would be really nice. I thought the stuff that Kevin told us was very interesting. So I would love to hear if he's got a poem there by Kevin Horowitz. I'd love to hear that. But meanwhile, I will read one. To be honest, I just ran in and grabbed the book off the bookshelf, to be honest. So this one's called Road Safety. Roadside shrines on sharp bends make quiet spaces on city streets. Halt, my heartling. No votive candles flame at Madonnas or crucifix. Here, orphaned teddies snuggle in football scarves. Mostly it's just bunches of flowers, cellophane darker each time I pass. Messages of love dissolve in wind and rain, tell of mothers shopping with smaller lists, scanning supermarket displays, choosing promises of spring. On country fences, farmers string slaughtered crows. Wings flap in winter storms, warnings on barbed wire. That's not miserable enough, eh?
No. I think somebody might want the pigeons from earlier on to end up on that barbed wire. I don't know. We might be linking those together. I'm going to go back to Ali now and see if she's found a poem at random to read us.
Okay, so not quite at random. my second favourite ever John Hegley poem. It's got no bearing on my life at all, but it's called Poème de Terre. I'm not a normal person, whatever that may be. There's something very, very vegetable about me. This human skin I'm skulking in is only there for show. I'm a potato. When I told my father it was something of a blow, he was hurt and he called me a dirty so-and-so. He kicked up a racket and he grabbed me by the jacket. I said, Daddy, will you pack it in? I need you for my father, not my foe. Daddy, will you try and help me grow? Won't you love me for my blemishes and look me in the eye? Before one of us is underground and the other says goodbye, and he said no. When I was a schoolboy, I never knew why I was so crap at cross-country running, but now I know why I was so slow. I'm a potato. Just look.
So spudgy like, I should think. Yeah.
It's a good one, that one. It's brilliant. Yeah. Smashing. Excellent. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A classic. Thank you very much, Ali. Yeah. Okay, we've got we've got a little time left before we sign out. So I've got the Pingdemic part 3. This goes like this. So-called Freedom Day arrived. Ping. It's now up to individuals whether to wear a mask. Ping. Mayor of London keeps face coverings on the tube. Ping. Check the app. Get a test. Have a jab. Ping. Key workers may be exempt from isolating. Ping. Workers in shops too. Ping. Will lorry drivers as well to keep the supply chain moving? Ping. Some pingers are getting tired of so-called phantom pings. Most people are double jabbed, but not yet all. Is uninstalling the app the smartest thing to do? You have to ask, is it really the inconvenience it seems? The pinging seesaw has been going up, but now it's coming down. But there's a fortnightly delay on numbers coming through. What'll be the pinging effect of unlocking final measures? Even with fewer deaths, the NHS doesn't need more pinging pressures. We're not out of the pinging woods. That pinger of a virus is pinging here to stay. Will the pings carry on increasing? Will the pings simply go away? Maybe the pings will take a vacation. But will the pings return later in 2021? Those pings don't ever stop. The pings won't give up. Pings are the warning against the bug, the pinging virus, which we will learn to live with. But it's been a hard lesson to pinging learn. If not now, when? That pinger, Boris, asked with surprise. Well, maybe when it's safe and infections aren't on the pinging rise and nobody of any age dies. You are. Thank you very much. Are we okay to go round again? George, have you got another one?
Yeah, I mean, never asked me that, Phil. But I'm just conscious that when you read out a poem, I'm very conscious of the shape of poems on the page. So I don't know if anyone can see it. But this is actually the poem I'm going to read. That's the way it looks on the page, because you never see that. And the way a poem looks on the page is actually as important in many ways as what it contains. At least I think so. So it is dark. Night muffles the city. Clouds crowd the moon. Stars are shadow memories. Choose horse, bridle, road. Seekers of released travellers to towns villages, lone outposts crouched in valleys, hunched on bleak hillsides, cannot find comfort. Frozen in bone and thought, am I the glacial fingers strangling light? My curses, the stabbing chill. Tomorrow will be fog and wailing.
Very dark, George. Very dark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, George. Roz, do you have another one for us?
I've just got a thing I was fiddling with W's, which isn't a poem, but I just like the sound of it. And I thought I'll go as far as I can without repeating any words and trying to make sense. So it isn't a poem and it isn't anything yet, but it might be one day. For today, you can have this because I've nothing else. Wizened, wrinkled woman wearing Wellingtons was wandering wasteland with wonky wooden walkways where wetland weeds withered without water while weak wind-whipped willows waved whenever wonderful western witches whispered warning women why wraiths waited within welcoming whitewashed walls. And that's as far as I got, using nothing but W's. I don't know why I did that.
That's great. That's brilliant. There's something in that. Maybe there should be a special sort of event where it's all poems written.
I'll go through the alphabet.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a pamphlet there.
Yeah. All right, till you get to about X, I think. Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past Roz. She'll make it happen.
Xavier, Xerxes, I don't know. What else have you got? A xylophone.
It's poetry, live poetry before your very ears. This is what you pay the big bucks for at SpeakEasy. We're rapidly running out of time on this section, so I'll push the magic button. We'll all sign in and we'll commence this silliness for part 3. The fastest finger first, George.
I'm getting so used to it, Phil.
Yeah.
I'm also used to when I'm chairing the thing and you do this, that you realise you've got to get back before everybody else comes back. Yeah. Sorry, Arabi, I was watching the playback from last time and I thought, my God, I didn't have to talk a lot.
Well, we all do, that's the point.
Yeah, it's a verbal medium, isn't it? So it's better if you do talk.
There's nuggets of gold in those chats.
I've been racking my brains and I'm like, are there any verbs beginning with X? Oh.
X-ray, possibly.
X-ray, yeah.
Xanadu.
Yeah, that's a noun as well.
Yeah.
Expanding.
Yeah. You're to cheat. Yeah.
Excellent.
Is that allowed?
Probably. Artistic license.
Yeah.
Button.
Sorry, Ali, I couldn't resist it.
X-rated, explicit, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, the tone is it's always about this level, so.
And it wasn't me this time.
Not yet, but
Not yet, no, this time. The night is young.
It's exciting stuff.
Just thought I probably should have apologised for Val, who couldn't make it tonight.
Oh, right. No, is she all right?
Yeah, somebody's talked her into playing tennis.
Oh, right.
So if you prefer to do that, then come on here and entertain on Saturday.
Well, that's all right. I mean, it's a lovely evening for her. So. I didn't know that was an option, you see.
Apart from the rain, yeah.
Oh, is it raining down there? Oh, dear. Steve, do you have another song for us, Steve?
Yeah, I thought I would do something different. I mean, I've got lots of songs, but I had my songwriting friend up last week. We did some songwriting, and we've written a song based on a true story of somebody in the First World War called Frederick Peel from Ireby, who, and this is absolutely true story, was shot in the First World War, but he was carrying the standard edition Bible in his chest pocket, and the bullet got lodged in the Bible. And there is a copy, I gather, I haven't seen it myself, in the Carlisle Military Museum. The Bible is there still with the bullet in it. And when my songwriting friend Peter Madeley, when we did some research, and when he did the research mainly, we found that this guy Frederick Peel was not the only one who was saved by a Bible, apparently. So we've written a song, which is a folk song about the story, and we haven't quite finished the melody. So I thought I'd just read you the story as a poem. The melody is still a bit undecided. If you can think Steel Span, folk rock, something like the Blackleg Miner, that's how we're trying to envisage this song. But we're only halfway there with the melody. But I'll read you the lyrics. We decided to write it in couplets, so it's very simple poem. And it's called The Faith of Frederick Peel. Here's the story of a Cumberland lad whose sheer blind faith saved him from certain death on the fields of Passchendaele. Private Frederick Peel was the son of Ireby, 3529241-283. Enlisted to the Western Front in 1916, to terrible atrocities the likes had ne'er been seen. But little did our hero know what fate had in store as he packed his rifle and rations and marched off to the war. Trembling in the front-line trench, waiting for the call, he fixed his steel bayonet in the heavy rainfall. But lucky young Tommy had God's hand on his side when at dawn the captain yelled the battle cry. Over the top, boys, and into Satan's fire of machine guns and mud and blooded barbed wire. Every soldier he knew inside, he was a sitting duck, but Freddie was carrying his precious good book. A German sniper's bullet headed straight for Freddie's heart, destined to blow the young soldier apart. But the bullet it did lodge in that sacred tome. The hard cover spared his life with 50 pages to go. Frederick survived the war to tell this great tale of how faith saved his life that day on the fields of Passchendaele.
I don't know what the tune's going to be like, Steve, but the poem in itself would make it's a good First World War, as good as some of the ones,
Really?
Poets of the age.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought of it as a poem until tonight when I thought, what shall I do? I thought, well, I could read that out. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, it's very powerful and tells a good story as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really tremendous piece, Steve. You guys should be really proud of it because it brings home a lot of I think the feelings and the truths from the First World War, and it celebrates that remarkable story, a local story. It's brilliant.
Yeah, apparently the thing about 50 pages to go is a truth that in another, but it wasn't Frederick Peel, it was somebody else who they counted how many pages were left, and there was exactly 50 pages to go. You can read it's all there on Google.
Wow, that's brilliant. Was it Blackadder where he was in a duel and they thought he was shot and he was like, what I actually had was a cigarette case has deflected the bullet, and then they switch around and somebody else does it, and he goes, oh, you see, I had a cigarette case as well, and he goes, oh no, I left it on the bedside table, and then drops down dead. So, yeah, no, amazing. Ginetto, have you got a third one for us, please?
I have. I was just going to say, Steve, that was excellent. Really enjoyed it. What I've got here is, I mean, I'm not trying to be, I don't know, sound boring or telling people off as such, because I do like a drink myself. And I won't have had my last hangover, but a couple of weeks ago, I was just a bit annoyed by, how some people, they just splash it down the necks, and it's like the bravado of how much they can drink. So, I kind of got the words in my head of the piece from the Bible I read for a friend at a wedding, Corinthians. I don't know a lot about the Bible, to be honest, but it was something like I spoke like a child, if any of you that are familiar to it. So this is called Toasting Corinthians. I can drink you under the table, he boasted, a resounding gong, a clanging cymbal, missing mountains, pissing 3 sheets to the wind. When he was a child, he spoke as a child. But on becoming a man, within the reflection of a half-filled glass, he found fulfillment, wisdom in spirit. Is that? Thank you.
Very good.
Very clever. That was really good. Thank you. I was at a wedding recently, wasn't I, Ellie? And you and Derek did a toast for your wedding, and you got people to hold up pieces of toast at the toast. That was brilliant.
Very good.
It turns out it's very difficult to propose a toast when you're still chewing on the mouthful of toast from the previous toast. We didn't think that one through. But Derek insists that's the only way to toast. It is misnamed.
I said it may catch on, but you never know.
I do. I think so. It's the future.
Mm.
Excellent. Okay. Richard, we're with you.
Yeah. Well, when I was on holiday, we went to a place called Anstruther, which is near St Andrews on the east side of Scotland. And the cottage we stayed in was called Fidra. And Fidra is a little island that's uninhabited, and there are a few out that way. In fact, the cottage overlooked the island of May, which is like a bird sanctuary. And I just got thinking about these remote islands. And many years ago, monks and hermits used to go and actually live on them. And you think, how did they survive? Because there's only literally seabirds and things to eat, and not much water apart from the rain, and no shelter or anything. But anyway, so I wrote this poem called Remote Islands. Virtually inaccessible, small but perfectly made, sheer cliffs loom from a choppy sea. So should I be afraid? Completely uninhabited, just seabirds and the seals. Lonely, away from company, they say solitude heals. A craggy rock above the waves, a misstep and I'd be sunk. You may wonder what I'm here for, but I'm a hermit monk. The more remote the island is, all the better for me, because you are never all alone. I think you must agree. Thank you. Just continuing the religious theme there a little bit, but
Good stuff there, Richard. Good. We're back with Ali, I think.
If I'd thought about it, hang on. Oh, I just finished reading today. I don't know if anyone's read this, Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. I just finished it today. If I'd thought about it, I would have picked a passage to read because she's actually a tremendous writer. I don't know if you've heard about the book, but it's a retelling of Greek myths, but from the perspective of some of the women that were captured during the Trojan Wars, and the role that they play in, you know, they're fought over, but they're powerless. And just, I think I was caught off guard by actually how like taut the writing is and how poetic a lot of it was. So it just dawned on me halfway through that I could have read you something, but I didn't want to spend my time thumbing through this whilst listening to you all. But just would really recommend this book. It's brutal in places. It mixes sort of pragmatism with myth in a really convincing way, and just gives you a total, you know, just puts these legends in a totally different light, as seen from the sort of the daily grind of, you know, the women who were also there. So just give it a whirl if you fancy something a bit different.
Cool.
Can you put the name and the author and the title in the chat room for us, maybe? No? Or hold it up
I'll
again.
do that now.
Or hold it up again. I missed.
Yeah.
My laptop fell off the settee. Let's hear it for the girls, and it's The Silence of the Girls. Barker. That's fine. That's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Okay. Finola. And then Marilyn.
Yeah, I think I've got my. Yeah, I'm going to read one out of one of the new Dreeks. Like George, I've got hundreds of poems in the Dreeks, and this is out of the Burn and Rave one, which is about old age. So I wrote probably about the most well-known poem, well-known to women about age, and it's based on a poem by Jenny Joseph called I Shall Wear Purple. And I think most of you might know it. If you don't, you'll miss a lot of what I'm kind of, it's not a piss take, but it's a slight piss take. I am old and wear purple and lime and azure, mixter maxter, in tartan DMs and ball gown. I stort to M&S to rattle clash their trolleys. I sneer at their feasts for weekends, prefer to scoff tubs of Lidl sorbets in bed, learning hot tango online and Facebook flirting with Texas kernels. Chain sucking cocktail sobrani, I dispense poems to men on buses. Midnight's all ablaze as I zoom to lectures in Oz on the koalas' sex lives, their furry chlamydia, eucalyptus, who knew? I nurture my stills bubbling beside the hot tub on the deck. When I get older, I'll stop climbing steeples, restrict my kicks to jet skis and sushi on zip lines. Perhaps I'll paint polka dots on my windows, drive a Plymouth Fury on Mulholland. Will you be Thelma to my Louise? Thank you. Thank you.
You may wear purple, yes. Wear lots of purple. Yes, fantastic. Cool. I was going to say, maybe Ali, if you could find a little page or a passage, maybe you could read that after Marilyn, if you want.
Right.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right.
And Marilyn, do you have another piece, Marilyn?
I thought I might read the. You know, I don't do poetry. I mean, I don't write poetry usually, but the piece that I did for the book that Susan, the Mind Trees of the Urban Forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called Of the Woods. All winter she searched inwards from the lake, the soles of her feet mulched brown, hair woven by low branches. In clearings she lay, explored canopies, delicate traceries breezing gently. Birth is a gentle push in the woodland. With the first spears of green came the faultless place, the earth yielding and warm, smelling of life, of new beginnings. She planted her feet, toes curled into soil that gave and moved for her, welcomed her as readily as a foxglove, a chanterelle, a milk cap. Her body stretched into a column of grace, slender arms lifted, fingers unfurled, bluebells flourished at her ankles, silvered bark crept and encircled her waist, limbs fused and hardened. At the last she shook back her hair. A zephyr took the joyous laugh, drew it through branches, flung it wide across the lake to lean into a red sail. And she was gone, yet there still, in the pale silver of bark, the slenderness of a branch, leaves murmuring softly, a steadfast beauty.
Excellent. And I've heard those last few lines a couple of times recently because I've been trying to edit bits and pieces together for this potential
All right.
thing, and I was like, "There's Marilyn reading the story, reading the
That was
piece."
me.
Yeah. So yeah, did I miss you out on the second round? I can't remember. I may
You
have
did.
missed you out.
It's okay. I'm sobbing inwardly, but I'll be fine.
I'm
Don't
really
worry
sorry.
about it.
Do you have another piece? I can make it up to you now if you want to read another piece.
No, it's okay. It would have to be another extract from the Man of Stars. So no, it's fine, honestly.
Well, I'm intrigued by the Man of Stars because you had that intriguing end, and then
It was a bundle of letters I bought in a sale room in Carlisle, and then the idea was I was going to do a longer piece with a chapter around each letter. And the man was William Dawes, who was an astronomer who had friends in Cumbria, and his father was the astronomer on the first fleet that went to Australia. So he's really interesting man. He has a crater named after him on the moon. I knew none of this. It was just a bundle of letters, which cost me, I can't remember now, £8. I think I left a bid. Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. I know a
From
little bit.
there, the collection's just grown. But they don't take much room up.
I know a little bit about William Dawes because there was a float made of him at the puppet parade they did.
Oh, right,
Carlisle
really?
Puppet Parade in 2019 because I was filming it, and Susan's boys had helped Tully House with their project, and they were doing the one about him. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I do. No, nobody's usually heard of it. His middle name's Rutter, William Rutter Dawes. But yeah,
Well, they had
I
this
did. I didn't want to
wonderful.
do a longer piece as well because he made his way to Sweden to see the eclipse. I mean, when you think the letters were mid 1800s, I don't know how he got there. I keep meaning I should research it, do some more. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, but they had this float, and it was like the boat, and it was him with a big telescope, and then they had like a mobile of all the planets and
Ah, yeah.
stars.
So that would be
Yeah,
his father. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause there's a Dawes Point, I think, in Australia. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it turns out that the Puppet Parade is nominated in the same category as Mind Trees of the Urban Forest at this diverse Cumbria Awards.
You've got to love connections, haven't you? You really have. Unforeseen connections, and yeah, I love them.
And so you just went along to an auction and got some random letters.
Nobody was interested. There were all these men looking at them, you know, and rifling through them. I just saw this little bundle just caught my eye. And in one of the letters, inside the envelope, there's a lock of his wife's hair as well, which he cut from while she was dying. That was a bit of a shock, but yeah. He describes, you know, because he was friends with all the biggest astronomers like Herschel and lots of others. And Tipu, who was mentioned in the very first letter, was actually the name of a tiger owned by one of the Maharajas of India. So I asked about it in the British Museum, and they were very interested because nobody knew that it was their cat. And they'd gone to take the waters at Leamington, and they would rent a house then, you know, like we would get a self-catering, and it got left behind. They didn't know whether he got underneath the floorboards or so. He was really worried about this cat. He got this man with this huge reputation with stars, you know, and yet he was really bothered about the cat. That's what I like about letters, you know, when there are things in there that you can see the people of people, whether it's 1850 or it's now, when you see petty jealousies, you see sarcasm, but they veil it more in their letters because they wrap it up in all their fancy words. I am, sir, your most obedient servant. And sometimes you can feel that that's a little bit sarcastic because they're not. I love it, yeah. I'm just nosy. That's really it. I'm very, very nosy about people.
That's curious.
As you know.
No comment.
No, it's okay.
Oh, thank you. That's fascinating stuff. Thank you very much. Okay, back to Ali. You found I've stalled there for you to see if you can find a passage for us.
The trouble is Marilyn's just too interesting. But do you know, I've really, having told you it's all really poetic, I'm really struggling to pull out a bit that really you know, that's a good example. But Marilyn, I've got a friend who down here in Dorset, and she set up an organisation called the Handwritten Letter Appreciation Society because she just loves well. And yeah, she's got a website. It's really nice. You can, you know, she does a blog and things, but it's lovely. She's been kind of linking up with people throughout the world that just love letters, and she I think her aim is just to get people to write more letters, but what seems to happen is that people hear about the society and they all write to her. So she's got almost a full-time job now, handwriting letters to the people that have written to her. But it's just, yeah, it's been immense. It's just a really unique form of communication, isn't it? It's totally different from the other things that we do
and
communicate.
Really
and
yeah, people think that abbreviating in texts is a modern thing, but it's actually not. They did a lot of abbreviating because they had to sometimes pay by weight to send letters, so they would abbreviate everything, and it's brilliant. So people think texting is new, and it's actually not. They didn't use emojis, but you know.
I started to write letters in lockdown, and simply because I thought, well, let's just do something new. So I wrote people letters, and it took quite a long time to write them. I would write them over 2 or 3 days, and I would say, you know, in the garden or back in the house at the dining table. And I really enjoyed doing it. But the bonus was people wrote back to me. And that was just lovely. And the letterbox would go, and it wouldn't be a bill or an advert. It would be a friend, and they were doing the same. And for the first time, you saw how your friend's physical handwriting. Yeah. So I just thought it was wonderful. And I'm kind of annoyed at myself because I've sort of slipped a bit, you know. Yeah. But yeah, so that's reminded me. Yeah.
very tactile, and the pleasure of even the time it takes to get the letter to you. It's as if there's more to it because it's travelled. You know, it's yeah.
And it's so different as well from us. I don't know how, you know, maybe you don't, but with social media, it's that thing that you're not having a one-to-one communication, i.e. you're broadcasting.
No.
But if you sat down and written a letter to, it's for them, and there's something quite special about that in this day and age.
And while you've got the envelope, well, you might as well put some things in it.
Yes.
You know, so it was kind of random things. It was maybe a new pair of socks that I'd seen at the shops, or just something, or a funny article somewhere, or I just became addicted to it, you know.
Yeah.
How big's this envelope if you're putting pairs of socks in it?
You open them out. You know the envelopes that you get books sent to you in?
Yeah.
Oh, more of a gift pack thing. Huh?
Just open them carefully.
We've stalled again, Ali. What
And have you got as far as decorating? I'm really failing here. Just recommend this. I really, really recommend this book. Enjoy it. It's musings on life and death and destiny and bravery, and you know, it's a good one.
Cool. That sounds great. Available in all good bookshops.
Libraries.
Libraries. Oh yes, I forget you're the ambassador for libraries. Good, we like libraries. Excellent.
Another connection.
Yes.
That's what I work in, libraries.
Are they open?
Yeah, the one in
Yes,
Coventry
they
is.
are. Yeah.
Ours aren't.
You've got
Really?
to like socially distance.
They're opening. They're phasing the opening of them, so there might be half a dozen open in Glasgow, but
Yeah.
they're phasing them in, and it's. I'd be honest. I think it's terrible in lockdown, particularly for children, that the libraries have been shut.
Yeah, no, ours have been open a while, but they are restricted hours at the minute because the staff, there's so many staff are isolating or
Is Wigton back open, Marilyn? Wigton Library. Is Wigton Library back open?
Yeah, it's open Tuesday and Friday.
Oh, great. I'll have to pop in.
Yeah, I've got a feeling we had a copy of that book. I think I've shelved. I often say I've shelved her, which sounds really rude, but you know, somebody will mention an author. I say, "Oh, I've shelved him." Yeah, I think there's only me who says that, unfortunately. But...
Oh no, we've
yeah.
You've got a soulmate here. I know what shelf that goes on.
Yes, that's it.
Just don't get left on the shelf, girls. That's what it is.
No.
Yeah. Unless you're with a good book, of course.
Absolutely.
There's some good women lie beneath the between the covers. That's it.
Marilyn, you're straight. You're getting us all into trouble again.
Yeah, I know, but I used to do consumer competitions, and that won me a prize, so that's why I remember that. It was Virago books as well, so it was good women lie between the covers. Incorrigible, I know.
I know, we've missed you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if it's for the right reason, but
it's always for the right reason. I feel we might be drawing to a close, though.
Yeah, before it goes totally off the rails, Phil, I think you're gonna.
I've got one last one. I know. Well, Kevin spoke about. He paid tribute to Michael Horowitz, didn't he? And Michael Horowitz set up the Poetry Olympics, because Olympics back in the day used to have a poetry as part of it, didn't it? And I was thinking about this earlier on, and this is the SpeakEasy Olympics mantra, and it goes something like this. Poetry used to be an Olympic sport. I got to thinking, how can you choose who will win and who will lose? when it comes to rhyme or other forms. And also, there's blank verse to contend with. Can you compare the sharp, syncopated stabbing of an angry political dissection with a succinct haiku, or the refined nature writer? Compare and contrast. Analogy, description, lyricism, beat, tempo, rhythm, rhyme and reason, or lack of, and feeling. Can a delivery so measured with perfect enunciation, a conjuring of concentric circles, following the first tear-shaped raindrops to strike a silver mirrored blanket before another follows, heralding the bombardment of tiny glass-like meteors upon the velvet portal to a subterranean realm. Be judged against a surrealist's yarn of whimsical characters reflecting upon a fabled past, rose-tinted or otherwise, woven like space-time, out of our reality, out of our world, a story spun from our dreams, our imagination, our collective delusions, or our collective illusions, our collective detective, black and white and shades of grey, sometimes spitting feathers. We tell myths of others and about ourselves. Truth can be present, truth can be absent, flickering in the zoetrope of our mind. Words are their own truth, in and of that moment, and this moment, and of moments to come. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't even have to be finished. It doesn't have to be an emotional striptease conducted in front of an audience of strangers and friends. We're equally accepting of flights of fantasies. If it seems true to you, maybe it will to others. We won't all win a shiny gold medal, but we will, in a way. Everyone brings something. Everything adds to the story. There's no one winner of any outright glory. The real glory comes from the sharing, from the reading, from the listening, from that bearing a little bit of your soul. Each of the fragments and pieces amounts to a greater whole, because, just like at the Olympics, it's the taking part that counts. There you are.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you very
fantastic.
much. Thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in to SpeakEasy Online. It's been great. Give yourselves a round of applause, everyone who read. And everyone who listened. Everyone who sang. And everyone who stayed to the bitter end.
Yeah, well done, Phil.
Thank you very much. It's been really great. And you're all really talented and you read so well and listened so well. And yeah, it's been good. Like Roz said, don't know how many more of these will be going on online, but we might be online for next month as well, and then we'll maybe see where we are in September. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Plan.
I'll put information on the Facebook page, and you know, when I know, you'll know, and we'll see what happens. But you never know, we might keep some element of Zoom going somehow. So yeah, it's been great. But yeah, a round of applause again to everybody. It's been really lovely.
Hey. Good to see you all.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah.
Get home safe.
Thanks, everybody. Great night.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So much,
Bye.
everybody.
See
Cheers.
you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
See you soon.